And there we are.
You know, the sages of our tradition believe that as you were entering or heading towards services, so as your Zoom video was starting to connect, that angels accompanied you, that there were angels sent to accompany you on Shabbat. So we're going to start with two angel songs to kind of welcome the angels. You know, there are lots of angels in the world. A lot of them don't have wings, but I've met lots of them in my day, and I'm kind of married to one too in her own way. So you know, be aware of all the angelic presence in your life, and welcome it wherever it, however it expresses itself. Yeah.
Amen. B'Shem Adonai Elohei Yisrael B'yamini Michael U'shmoli Gabriel U'milfanai Uriel U'me'acharei Raphael Ve'al Roshi ve'al Roshi Shechinatel. In the name of Adonai, the God of Israel. On my right is Michael, on my left is Gabriel. In front of me is Uriel, and behind me Raphael. And all around, surrounding me, Shechinatel. B'Shem Adonai Elohei Yisrael B'yamini Michael U'shmoli Gabriel Milfanai Uriel U'me'acharei Raphael Ve'al Roshi ve'al Roshi Shechinatel. And all around, surrounding me, Shechinatel.
Thank you, Cantorial. So now's the time to really welcome the angels of Shabbat. These other angels accompanied us to the service, but now we're formally entering the holy space, and we're going to welcome the angels to join us in this holy space.
And we're going to welcome them this evening with the melody that I learned from my younger son Eli, where he learned it from Camp Alonim. Imagine that you're riding a horse while welcoming the Sabbath angels. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Bi Melech מלכי המלכים, הקדוש, הקדוש ברוך הוא. בואכם לשלום, מלכי השלום, מלכי עליון ממלך, מלכי המלכים, הקדוש, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום, מלכי השלום, מלכי השלום, מלכי עליון ממלך, מלכי המלכים, הקדוש, הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלכי השלום, מלכי עליון ממלך, מלכי המלכים, הקדוש, הקדוש ברוך הוא. הקדוש, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Now we'll take a minute to light the candles. In case there's this beautiful line in the Psalms about candles, which is that the soul of man is the candle of God. So when we light these candles, it's kind of an expression of our desire to have a relationship, to be connected to something bigger than we are, however you want to understand that. So,
as we light our candles, we will bring up the some slides as well, so you can follow along at home. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav Vetzivanu, vetzivanu lehadlik ner, vetzivanu, vetzivanu lehadlik ner, vetzivanu, vetzivanu lehadlik ner, shel Shabbat. Yai la 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 la, yai la 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 la, yai la 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 la, yai la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
Now it's Andy and I's, Cantor Andy and I's privilege and honor to bestow the priestly blessing on you, on everyone, so that they should have a wonderful week, a restful Shabbat, Shabbos, filled with joy and love and peace. May that joy and love and peace spread all over the world. Yivarachecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Yareh Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha Shalom. May God bless and keep you. May God's face shine radiantly upon you and make you know of God's presence in your life. May God lift you up when you're down and bring you to a place of wholeness and peace.
We're
going to continue with singing two Psalms, Psalm 96 and Psalm 99.
Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru שיר חדש. שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני שיר חדש. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth, a new song unto God. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. I will sing unto God a new song.
Beautiful. Every day we sing a new song. Every day is different. Every day is an opportunity to bring ourselves into the world in a special new way.
Amen. And for Psalm 99, we are at the last bottom section. Exalt Adonai our God and bow towards God's holy hill, for Adonai our God is holy. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu veishtachavu lehakodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu veishtachavu lehakodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu veishtachavu lehakodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu veishtachavu lehakodsho.
We move from this moment of elevation to a tender moment of loving presence where we welcome Shabbat into our lives. We welcome Shabbat in the guise of a bride coming into our lives. We experience the same joy that we experienced if we underwent a wedding. We waited under the chuppah for our bride to arrive. It's a special moment, and this psalm and this special piyut, special poetry, gives us a chance to experience this moment of expectation every week that we decide to join in the prayer. So, Andy, let's have you take us there.
Thank you, Rabbi. As is our tradition, we'll do verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. In more traditional congregations, they will often do all 9 verses. And in order to mix it up, because that's a lot of verses, they'll change melodies halfway through. Well, we never do that because it's a lot of verses. But just once, I'm going to pull out the second half melody that is done in a traditional congregation, just so you can enjoy it. It's a lot of fun, I hope. Lecha dodi likrat kala hine Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala hine Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala hine Shabbat nekabela. Verse 1, and Shamor v'zachor בדיבורך השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד לשם ולתפארת, בלי תחילה לך דודי לקראת כלה. הנה שבת מקבלה, verse 2, לקראת שבת לכוונך, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי לקראת כלה. הנה שבת נקבלה, verse 5, התעוררי התעוררי כי באורך קומי אורי אורי אורי, שידברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לך דודי לקראת כלה. פני שבת nekabelah. Verse 9, we rise if we can to greet the Sabbath bride. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha uvetzola, toch emuneh am segula. Boi chala, boi chala, lecha dodi לקראת כלה. בני שבת נקבלה,
Now it's our time to start the Mariv service. We've been visiting the welcoming of Shabbat and getting our hearts and minds connected to the glorious time. And now we formally enter Mariv as a community. We'll rise if we're able. We rise in spirit if we want to do that. And we'll say the Baruch Hu.
Whoops, I'm sorry. I got my eyes mixed up.
Can't have a much
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach, Hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Hamevorach, Hamevorach le'olam va'ed.
We continue with a blessing for the evening. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and seasons glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, for whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Ma'avriv Aravim.
Amen.
So it's traditional in framing the Shema, the traditional prayer that's said is Ahavat Olam, speaking of the eternal love that we receive from the divine energy of the universe. But tonight, I'm going to read this beautiful poem by one of my favorite rabbis, Rabbi Rami Shapiro. It's called Unending Love. We are loved by an unending love. We are embraced by arms that find us, even when we're hidden from ourselves. We are touched by fingers that soothe us, even when we are too proud for soothing. We're counseled by voices that guide us, even when we are too embittered to hear. We are loved by an unending love. We are supported by hands that uplift us, even in the midst of a fall. We are urged on by eyes that meet us, even when we are too weak for meeting. We are loved by an unending love. Embraced, touched, soothed, and counseled. Ours are the arms, the fingers, the voices. Ours are the hands, the eyes, the smiles. We're loved by an unending love.
Beautiful, Rabbi. Thank you.
Now we turn to the Shema and the Vahafta.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
As they stood at the miraculous moment when the seas parted and they knew that their liberation would continue and be possible, this beautiful song was sung by the women of the people, as they had tambourines, they had all sorts of ways they accompanied themselves, and it was a song of celebration of the wonders of this amazing miracle.
Tehilo Joseph Malachot Echara Uvanecha Bokei Hayam Lifnei Moshe uMiriam Zelianu ve'amru Zelianu ve'amru Adonai Imloch le'olam Adonai Adonai et Yaakov ugalo miyad chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael
Ga'al Yisrael, the Redeemer of Israel. It's the song of redemption, the joy of redemption. So tonight, we're going to do a silent Amidah. Cantorial will introduce it with a little music, because I thought that there's so much going on in our lives, there's so much going on in the world, that we need some time to really find our own prayers, find our own words that express what's going on in our heart and what's going on in our lives. But it's important to add touches of gratitude to this prayer. So we're going to rise at this moment of standing at one of the pinnacle moments of the service, and he will open our hearts and minds to the possibility of entering this time of prayer, and Andy will bring us back with a wish for peace.
Adonai Sefatai Tiftach Ufi Agid Hilatecha Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. עושה שלום במרומיו. הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו ואמרו אמן. ואמרו ואמרו
Thank you, Cantorial. May God bless you for the gift that you bring to the world to open our hearts and minds to the possibilities before us. I am so grateful to always be in your presence. You are an amazingly talented person, and God really speaks through you and to me through you.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you.
So, I have a lot of opportunity to teach various students. And, the great thing about being a teacher is that you end up learning more from your students than you end up teaching them. So they always kind of drag you into places you need to go. And, I had a student the other day who asked me about prayer. And he basically said, why should we bother praying? How should we bother praying? And what's the whole deal about? I mean, what's this? What's it about anyway? I'm not sure I really believe in the process of prayer. And, that really was a great question because it made me think about prayer in a deeper way than I usually think about it. And it also allowed me to visit one of my teachers who's had some wonderful things to say about prayer. I'll share a few quotes of his with you tonight. Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel. So, it's not unusual for me to hear in some very big synagogues who don't have the energy, I think, that Cantorial creates for us, that people went to services, they really didn't get anything out of it. And the only moment they felt that it was good to be at services was at the oneg or the kiddush, because at least at that point in the service, they were connecting with friends and they felt like they belonged and it felt good. But during the whole process of the service, they were waiting for the moment where they could connect with others in the oneg or the kiddush. And I always wondered what this is about. How could people come to communal prayer and not get anything out of it? What's going on? And one of the first stopping places most rabbis go to when you talk to them about that, and they say, well, people aren't interested in prayers. That's they don't bring anything with them to the services. They expect to be given something, but they're not open to receive it. And here's what Rabbi Heschel said about this. Prayer will not come about by default. It requires education, training, reflection, contemplation. It's not enough to join others. It's necessary, I love this part, it's necessary to build the sanctuary within, brick by brick, instants of meditation and moments of devotion. And what I think Heschel is saying, you can't magically expect to go to services, and even if the music and the cantor is talented, something magical will happen if you're just sitting back and listening. You have to be willing to build that inner sanctuary while you're engaging in the process of prayer, so that the holiness of the words and the sacredness of the moment means something to you. You know, as a spiritual leader, I have to take responsibility for part of this. I help you lift the bricks, and Cantor Andy does too. Lift the bricks to create this sanctuary. And I do this by trying to provide words which help you understand the meanings of the prayer, and by myself being actively involved in the prayers and modeling what it means to be actively involved with the prayers. And before I lead services, I invariably look at the prayers and think about how they speak to the 21st century mind. Now, these prayers are ancient. They were written long ago. And if one doesn't try and look at the modern meanings of the prayers, it's like a skeleton with no meat on it. The prayers are like a skeleton with no meat on it. Many congregants have also said that praying in Hebrew creates an impenetrable barrier. And they just can't engage in the process of prayer because they don't read Hebrew and they don't understand Hebrew. And I once had a student who told me, and actually was very involved in Jewish life, but he never went to services because he didn't know Hebrew, he didn't know what was going on, and he had no interest in going. So I was really, rabbis always have workarounds, What was I going to tell this person who didn't want to go? So I said, I think there may be a way you can get something out of prayer, even if you don't know prayer services, even if you don't know Hebrew. What you can do is when you get there, just engage in the choreography of the prayer service. By that I mean the moments of sitting, the moments of standing, which we did during the Baruch Hu, and the moments of bowing, which we also did during the Baruch Hu. That there's a choreography that kind of you can engage with. And he said, what are you talking about? A choreography? What does that mean? I said, well, it's like this. When everybody's sitting all around you and the Hebrew's going on, don't try and keep up with it. Just sit there and think about what you're grateful for. Think about what it is that you're thankful for in your life. And, some of our lives are better and some of our lives are worse, but I think if you really think about it, everybody can always find one thing to be grateful for. I know me, I'm grateful to wake up in the morning, I wake up, it's a good day, it's a good day. And I think that's why the first prayer in the liturgy, the morning liturgy, is Modeh Ani, which is a prayer of thanks, because we're thankful we finally woke up. I think we woke up. There's nothing magical about the prayer, the Hebrew words. You can engage in this process of gratitude while you're sitting there. You don't have to engage in the Hebrew. And I was reading the New York Times, the LA Times this week, and actually they were quoting this research study which showed women, I don't know why it was just women, but women who had an attitude of gratitude, it's kind of an interesting phrase, they lived longer than their women colleagues who were disillusioned and discouraged all their lives. That somehow having this sense of gratitude was life-affirming and life-prolonging. So it's not just this moment of sitting. There are other parts of the choreography of prayer. There's also when we stand, that's a big moment in prayer. So I said, there's this thing about standing in prayer. He said, what do you mean there's a thing about standing in prayer? I said, well, when you stand up in prayer, you know that you're joined in community. Everybody's standing all around you. You become part of something that's bigger than you are. And if you just think about it, when you're standing at this moment in the liturgy, people in synagogues all over Los Angeles are standing at the same moment in the liturgy. And if you want to widen your field of vision, you can say, not only are they standing right now, but historically, for centuries, people stood at this very, very moment. And I'd like to think that in the future, people will be standing too. people you're standing to. So when you're standing, you're connected to something that's enduring and eternal. You're standing with something that's really big. Our lives are meant to be shared with others. We're not meant to be isolated. And these moments of communal standing and sharing are very, very important. I think one of the big social issues of our time is that people don't feel connected to each other. In the old days, families lived together in the same neighborhoods, and everybody was connected. My mother lived all around her cousins and her siblings. But our generation, we went to college, we moved away, and we stayed away. And that created this culture of disconnection to our roots. And this moment when we stand in synagogue is a way to get back to that moment of connection to our roots. We're not alone. We're part of something, and we're part of something that exists right now and that has endured for centuries and hopefully will endure into the future. Now, there's one final piece of choreography of prayer that I think is probably the most important, and that's the moment when we bow during prayer. We bow during the Baruch Hu. And I think that's really important because it's really teaches us something really important about humility. We all have moments of achievement, and we have moments when we've missed the mark. We all have times where things have gone great and times where things just didn't work out. That's the nature of our lives. And bowing is our way to embrace both our strengths and our limitations. And that's why it's placed strategically in the liturgy at very important moments, like at Baruch Hu was a very important moment. It's like a call to community where finally everybody's together on the same page. So there's something very, very powerful about the bowing. It's not as if the Hebrew words, and if you need to, and you want to use the transliterations, it's not that they're not beautiful, but they're tools. They're tools that are supposed to take you someplace. They're not the treasure. They're just the tools to open the treasure chest. So if they're useful tools and you want to use them to open the treasure chest, use them. But if they're not useful tools, find other tools to make prayer services meaningful. And I've just given you this choreography of prayer tool. There might be something else. So I've spoken a bit about how to pray, but I think I want to end by talking about why to pray. That's a whole different question. I'd really like to think that when I pray, I can expect that my prayers will be answered. I mean, that would be ideal, right? I pray for something and it happens. But that's really a tough take. That's a tough take. I don't think it's good for me or for us to always pray with the expectation our prayers will be answered. I think the one thing we can hope for is that when we leave the time of prayer, we're changed in some way. It doesn't have to be an earth-shattering change. It can be a subtle change. Sometimes I leave and I feel relaxed after services, either attending or leading. Sometimes I feel a sense of connection to others, like I've really bonded with this Beth Ohr community by leading services and being with you. And it's a wonderful feeling of being connected to such beautiful people. And sometimes I leave with a sense of being whole, a sense of something better about myself. Prayer does not have to change the world. Prayer does not have to change the world. It's enough if prayer just changes us in some small way. Many of us are familiar with Rabbi Heschel and know that he was very involved in social action in the civil rights movement. And in speaking about prayer, he said one of the most inspiring reflections that I've ever heard, and I want to share this with you tonight. Actually, in one of the teachings I needed to take, which taught me how to be a prayer leader, it was up on this big board. So every time we were engaging and learning how to lead prayers, we had to read this. And this is what he says. Prayer is meaningless unless it's subversive, unless it seeks to overthrow and to ruin the pyramids of callousness, hatred, opportunism, and falsehood. The liturgical movement must become a revolutionary movement, seeking to overthrow the forces that continue to destroy the promise, the hope, and the vision. So I'm going to just say it one more time. Prayer is meaningless unless it's subversive, unless it seeks to overthrow and to ruin the pyramids of callousness, hatred, opportunism, and falsehoods. The liturgical movement must become a revolutionary movement, seeking to overthrow the forces that continue to destroy the promise, the hope, and the vision. And there are plenty of those forces in the world right now. For me, the pyramids of callousness, hatred, and opportunism are all the xenophobia and fear of others that has infected our political discourse. And each of us can be infected by this terrible virus of hatred and fear that's dominating the politics in our world. We can use this moment of prayer to feel closer to our Jewish community and to envision bringing that same energy, that same feeling of connection to all the others we meet and interact with. You know, if you follow the flow of the liturgy, you'll see that we start with gratitude for creation and then with a vision of oneness expressed at the very end of the prayer, Aleinu. It's a oneness that speaks to the connection of the whole world, bringing the whole world together. So that's where the prayer service is really taking us, to this place where we can envision the whole world being connected and at peace. That's the promise. That's the hope and the vision, I think, that Rabbi Heschel was talking about. This is where the prayers of the tools of the prayer service are most important. The music, the words, the choreography are all designed to take us to this place of oneness. They're designed to bring us to a place where we embrace our role in making the world a better place, where we all can bring compassion, justice, and wisdom into the world. Sometimes we do this in big ways, like contributing to charity that support the fallen, or voting and supporting leaders who bring us together and don't divide us. And sometimes we make the world better, even in the smallest ways, by just smiling at a stranger we pass on the street. Heschel says this beautifully: prayer is meaningless unless it's subversive. May we all become agents of change. May our prayers inspire us to try and make the world a better place this week. Shabbat Shalom.
Amen and Shabbat Shalom. It's beautiful, Rabbi. Thank you.
So we're going to continue our service with a prayer for healing. Now's the time to kind of unmute so we can, if anyone has someone they want to remember for healing, please raise your hand. We'll call on you. Anyone have somebody? Karen.
Andy Hyman, Suzanne Joyce, Rachel Furman. That's it.
So, yes. Anyone else? Charlotte.
My children, Esther Bat Rachel and Shirley Edelson.
Thank you. Anyone else? Belle, Bhavani.
Ollie. You hear me?
Yes.
Oh.
Polly, Ali, is that who you...
Pardon?
Did you say Ali? Is that who you said?
No. I just said Polly.
Polly. Okay, Polly. Definitely. We want to send healing energy.
Well, I've been sick for 2 weeks. I lost 15 pounds in 10 days.
Oh, no.
So I think I could use a prayer for healing for myself.
It would be an honor to convey one to you, Polly.
I've been really sick.
You are so dear to us. Be an honor to convey it to you.
Yes.
Belle and Bhavani. Unmute, please.
Who?
some of my yoga friends that I am going to see or not going to be able to be at the retreat I'm going to next week. Sumati, Karuna, Anasuya, Mukti, and also their family members, Rich Archer, Maitreyi, and Bharati.
Josh.
David Halstead and Errol Gerson.
David Austin. Claudia.
Donna Loken and Vance Tyree.
Anyone else? So I would just like to add sending healing energy to all of the people of the Middle East that are suffering during this terrible time, and to all those who need healing energy and are not in the room with us, but need the strength of a healing prayer to bring them to wholeness.
And I will add from the YouTube stream a special prayer for Charlotte and all of the Hyman family, for Shayna's friends Troni, Betsy, and Miriam, for Rabbi Steve Robbins, and for Shirley Edelson. And I will add my mom Ellen and my little sister Anna as well. Misha Berach Avoteinu Bekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Ishe berach imotenu bekor habracha ve'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
And all those we mentioned, bring healing into their lives. May they become strong, well, healthy, and whole. May this occur swiftly with God's strong hand leading their souls and their body to a place of where they can bring their best selves into the world, and nothing inhibits that any longer. So in my drash, I talked about the Elena prayer, which we're going to say next. It's kind of one of the closing final prayers of our service, and it speaks to this idea of our desire to make the world whole, to make the world one, so that we all are on the same page, that we all care about each other. We all care about how the world is going. May this be so, and may this prayer bring us some energy to imagine this and do what we can to make it happen.
We rise if we can. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
It's really hard when people have left us. I know that I work hard to find ways to keep the memories alive and keep the people alive who are important to me and are now present in another iteration, in another way. And this prayer of praise is prayer that speaks to our love for them and our love for the divine essence of the world that brought these people into our lives. So does anyone have somebody who they're remembering on an anniversary of a death today? Everybody.
My grandmother, Dina Shepherd.
Anyone else?
Today's the 5-month anniversary of my father's death.
Cantorial.
I'm also in the first year of the passing of my father, Steve Henry.
Anyone else? Charlotte.
I'm saying Kaddish for my husband who passed away a couple of months ago.
Anyone else? Okay, it's traditional to stand at this moment. And say these words that comfort those in mourning and also comfort the souls of those who've left us. Please join me if you can. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah Yama Divra Kirute B'Yamei Kute V'chayachon V'yomechon V'chay B'kol Beit Yisrael V'agala V'zman Karev V'imru Amen. Yehi Shema Rabba Mevarach V'olam Le'ol Me'omaya Yit Barach Yishtabach Yit Pahar Yit Hamam Yit Naseh Yit Hadar Yit Halev Yit Halal Yit Krishab V'Fu Yila Mikol Birchata V'Shirata Pushpachata V'Nechamata Namira V'Yama V'Imru Amen. Yehi Shlomo Rabba Min Shemaya V'Chaim Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Imru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'Mamav Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Imru. So before we conclude with a final prayer, I'd like to invite Karen, our wonderful leader, to grace us with some announcements about our summer, what we have to look forward to, and any other wisdom she has to impart to us today.
Well, okay. On the subject of not quite wisdom, but what I thought of with the campfire version of the Baruch is I'm laughing at the tale that just walked through. So I want to say, aside from Yasher Koach to our officiants, Baruch and Yahu. So this is July. Our next service will be August 2nd on Zoom. Just not exactly like this, but kind of like this. And for sure, beautiful music, beautiful wisdom from our rabbi. And so that will be our August. September, we are in the planning stage of a special event, a musical event. Date and place and time, TBD, to be determined. We're working on that, but it's going to be great. And it will be a fundraiser. We are going to charge something like about $25 to $30 for the joy, let alone the privilege of hearing some wonderful music from our wonderful cantor and great words from our wonderful rabbi. So it will be another way to experience really what the rabbi was talking about tonight: prayer, connection, and what makes what we do here, whether we understand the words or not, so meaningful over time. So I hope you will all come to that.
Will it be live?
Yes, live. Good question, Polly. Thank you for asking that.
It'll be during the day, and I think Cantor and Andy and I have been talking about making it a song fest, which will be joyous, but and there'll be many songs in English, but the focus will be bringing the world to a better place. Our hopes and prayers and songs to sing the world to a better place. We all get kind of discouraged, and we should leave this festival of music feeling encouraged and knowing that we've been inspired to bring the world to a better place. And I can't think of a better way to do that than by hearing Andy's singing and joining in with him. So yeah, we're very excited about this. It should be great, and who knows, it might make a difference. It can't hurt, right? Can't hurt. Either nothing will happen or something great will happen, or maybe just something small will happen, and that's enough. That's enough. If everybody did something small, can you imagine, gazillion people did something small, what it would add up to. So, yeah. Thank you, Karen. And thank you for everything you do for this group. Karen,
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
puts a lot of energy in keeping this group special. And Polly, we really hope you feel better real soon. If there's anything we can do for you, you need to tell us.
No, I'm on the mend. It's been pretty terrible. I wasn't sure I was going to make it, but I'm okay.
Great.
Oh, thank God.
Okay, after this last prayer, we're going to keep the Zoom room open for a little while for socializing, because if we were together in the room live, we'd hang around for a little while. We wouldn't just all walk out the door. So we're going to keep the Zoom room open for a little while. Shabbat shalom, and thank you all for being here with us tonight.
Shabbat shalom, Rabbi.
Thank you.
We'll close with a little Hashkivenu from Craig Taubman's melody. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Ushmo tzetenu uvoheinu lechaim ulshalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. There we go. Shabbat shalom, my friends.
With the liturgists, we're trying to figure out a lullaby to end the service with. Hashkiveno is the lullaby. May we lie down in peace and may we wake up refreshed. It's a lullaby.
I could use that. No.
Lie down in peace and wake up refreshed.
If you will all join me in a little Hollywood Squares-esque or hee-haw or whatever, waving goodbye to the folks at home, we'll say goodnight to the folks on YouTube, and thank you for joining us. And please, those in the Zoom room, please stay on and wish each other well.
Thank you, Andy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Polly. Polly, I bring you special get well